Well, if you're anything like me, you've got a large digital life, a lot of electronics and stuff that you need to power, charge, and all of that. Well, you're probably looking at power solutions for that, like power banks. Well, today we're going to be looking at a power bank that's different than anything I've really had before. This one is called the GlydCharge from Space Gravity. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and yeah, the GlydCharge is the power station that we're looking at today. It is a little bit bigger than some of them that I've looked at before, but it definitely has some unique things to it, so let me tell you about it. Click look at the website and you'll see that this thing has a remote. Yeah, it's the first remote-controlled power bank. That's what they're claiming, and I think they're right. Although I'm not really sure why you need to remote control it. Stationary power source or portable charger, high-end battery cells. So instead of lithium-ion batteries, like I'd say 90%, at least, of the portable power banks like this. I mean, if you're talking about a big power station like that right there, something like that would most likely use a LiFePO4 battery. But typically in these little guys, you're going to see basic lithium-ion batteries. LiFePO for short, those batteries last longer, they will take more charges, and they're just more robust. So like it says right here, same cells as electric cars. It is remote controlled. It's allowed on airplanes, which that can be tricky because if you're over a certain amount of power or output, you won't be able to take that on a plane. Although this is pretty big to put in your bag, you know. Has 65 watt PD fast charging, power or charge devices, heat and cold resistant, and complies with mandatory battery regulations. So like typical power stations, yes, you can use it to charge your phone or your iPad, your laptop, or even power them, that type of thing. But this also has a DC out, which means that you can actually power devices that require DC power. So that's pretty cool. And to make things easier, so I don't have to read all these specs to you, I'm just gonna put them on the screen right now. You can pause this if you wanna peruse those, or you can just go to the website, which I'll put a link down in the description too. All right, so you can see all the inputs and outputs there. There's USB-C, there's standard USB, and there's DC. Then there's a little button right here on the top. You're just gonna push that button, and it's going to tell you that that is, you know, either full or depleted. So that's the way you can check that. You can also use this to turn it on and off. So if I just hold that button, now it's completely off. Then we've got this remote. So if I press on, it won't turn on because it is completely turned off. If I press the button one time, now it's loaded up there. Sorry, I'm looking at a monitor over here to the side, but if we hit this, that's turning it off. We hit it again, and it's turning it on. There is a little quick explanation sheet that's right here on there, so you don't have to carry around your manual or whatever, but it does come with a manual. The remote is surprisingly sturdy with some plastic and I guess aluminum there, and it's basically a key fob. So if you're using this thing a lot, you could put that on your keys and you'd probably be set. All right, so that is what's inside of the box. And it says made in China. I believe that this is a German company that manufactures them in China. It also comes with a DC cable, so that's good. And you've got your USB-C cable that's with it as well. Okay, we'll just turn it off. There we go. I mean, you know, it works really well. I've used this with several different things, including a recent trip that I went on. And I can tell you that you can fly with this in your bag, the carry-on bag. You can't put these types of things inside of your checked baggage. You just can't do it. They will take them out of there and they'll either destroy them or, well, I don't know what they do with them, but backpack, okay, suitcase, not. Now, as far as using the DC output on this, it works, but it just, you know, you have to find devices that it matches up with, right? I mean, it's 12 volt, 4.2 amps DC output. So it doesn't work for my Spark amp, but I have found a couple of small electronics that it'll work for. It actually works well for camera gear stuff, like a small field monitor that I've got there. So if I was doing something out and I needed to plug into some power, this would work for that. It does work for some things like guitar pedals, and also I've got that U-looper pedal that requires a USB power source. Well, this works great for that. So if you were doing a long gig and you needed that thing to last all night, well, this would definitely do it. Just a couple of things with this, you know, these kinds of interfaces right here, they don't last very long, you know, so I'm just afraid that after time that's going to get brittle and that'll break away. And the other thing is the bottom of this, you can tell that it's made to sit flat, right? But there's no feet on it. So if I put it down on a hard surface, it wants to slip. Just some little tiny rubber feet would have been a great idea for this. Oh, I did just find here. Yeah, so Space Gravity GmbH, and that is in Germany. All right, so there we go, right there on that. So that is the GlydCharge power station. And yeah, as far as a remote, it's kind of like, what do I need a remote for? Well, you know, I have had this thing hooked up to a couple of studio things, like a light and also the monitor, and I could just go from a distance and click it and turn them off. So, I mean, you know, there's uses for it. And if you've got a use for a power station with a remote, well, there you go. Oh, by the way, there is no app for this, which could really take the place of a remote in many situations, but yeah, there's no app on this one. All right, I want to thank you so much for your support here on the channel. Likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, always very important to my channel. So if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, there is a red subscribe button down there and notification bell. If you click both of those, you'll get notifications when I upload new videos. There's also a thanks button down below, so if you're so inclined, want to toss a couple bucks my way, it is not inexpensive to run this channel, so every penny counts. I just appreciate you being here either way. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.